Welcome everyone to the world of Horen. Thanks for joining us again tonight. Welcome back to this session. We've had a couple of weeks since we last played, and before we do jump into the recap and all that, just wanted to give a quick reminder and a request that if you like what we do today, please go ahead and hit all the social media links and the following and the subscribing and whatnot. If you're able to do that kind of thing, we really appreciate that opportunity to see those numbers climb. We like you, so please show us that you like us. All right. Since it was kind of key towards her particular character, I'd like to invite Ilara to share a very brief recap of what happened last session.
Oh gosh, asking the night nurse to recap sessions 2 weeks ago. Well, actually, I wrote very detailed notes. So 2 weeks ago, the party actually visited Ilara's home city of Elune for the first time, and it was this beautiful domed underwater city that is kind of very like celestial looking. It's in the shape of kind of like a spiraled galaxy that's kind of like ever just kind of swaying and flowing in the water. While there, they learned some interesting lore. They met with my mother, Queen Ulysia, and they were tasked with after meeting with her, and then Ilara and Queen Ulysia went and spoke with a great elder. I came back and told the party that we basically have to kill this great sea hag named Morwen. Or I don't know if we know it's a sea hag, or do we know it's a sea hag?
Yeah, you know it's a sea hag. We ended the session with you not quite informing everyone yet of what the absolute plan is. You returned to the rooms to find everyone awake and active. A couple people had been making use of the wonderful information sharing that's available in here.
Yeah, that was fun.
On a brief reminder on that, Obi is looking for any sort of information and details he can get on parents, and a seashell to come to answer his question. Unfortunately, the seashell is written all in Druidic, and without it being translated by someone, Obi doesn't know its contents. That's him. So we jump back into this private quarters, or rather her servants' quarters that you guys have been staying in for the last day. You give your recap of what's going on. Whoa,
Solomon, you heard that sound there.
Sorry.
That scratching's real loud.
You give your recap of what has happened to the party. So everyone in the party, well, actually, I need to know how much of the situation and what transpired would you have told the party, because I think certain members of the group would start to freak out when they hear about a sentient creature that's underneath that that was talking and giving you advice. So how much of that would you share?
Well, I seem to recall you just walked in and said, "All right, guys, we got to go kill Marwyn," and then cut to black, right?
So actually, yeah, we ended the session by Ilara had I remember describing that the city, and it's a very interactive type city where there's a lot of wildlife and sea creatures that would play with and interact with the players. So at this point, I had kind of like a small group of sharks following behind me, and when I opened the doors, like they were all kind of like following behind me, and we had kind of this like angry air about us, and I was like, we need to go kill Morwen. But do you want us to skip talking about all of that, or
No. You talk about what you want. I'm now inviting you to decide what you share with the party.
Oh,
How
sure.
much information. You don't. It's up to you whether or not you go into the explicit detail of informing them of everything, or you can just say, "I tell them this, this, and this." That's your comfort level on that regard, there, Ilara.
Also, sorry. Now my cat has decided that right now is the time she would like out of my room. See if we'll see if she. Oh, there you go.
All right. So, what's everyone else been doing? While she spent a couple hours away in the morning, you had a nice little breakfast. What was everyone else up to this morning?
We weren't eating fish, that's for sure.
Sure.
Which is a complete bummer.
Kale chips.
Kale.
Kale.
Yep.
We were having kale. Yep. Seaweed.
Make sure. Okay. Yep.
Okay.
All right.
Done.
It's your turn.
We were talking about what we were eating for breakfast, and it wasn't fish.
No.
It was seaweed, kale.
It was terrible.
So you're a princess? What does that mean here?
What do you mean? What does that mean?
Like, do you collect taxes? Do you have to be married to a noble prince of another house to strengthen your family dynasty? Political intrigue. I understand this is how courts work. I don't know.
In Elune, we do not collect taxes, and we are. The women do not need to marry a man to rule. The queen does not have a king. My mother is married to my father, but he is not the king.
Oh, who is he?
He's just my father. He was I believe before he was married to her, he was just a merchant.
Oh, is he also a sea elf?
Yes.
Neat.
I am a full sea elf, and she points. You can see it in the length of the ears.
Well, I have never met someone like you and everyone else here, so it is very nice to learn.
What are your parents?
Speaking of which,
Oh, well, my parents were also royalty, believe it or not.
Really?
But yes, but due to some political court intrigue, like I said, it was thought that I was killed, but if people found out that I wasn't, it would have destroyed some political alliances. So I sadly had to strike out on my own as with no support at all for the greater good of my people.
Does she believe him?
It was very sad.
Insight versus deception.
Okay. Let's see where my insight is. Oh, it's actually not bad. I'm sorry, I still don't have that. Ooh. I got 23.
Clearly, he's lying. that doesn't sound like anything that would make any sense at all.
And she just
For
like
those watching, his deception was an 11. I think even the fish behind her know that he's lying.
you
An
actually
eye
see all of the little sharks that were behind her kind of like swim up just behind her shoulder, and they're like but yeah, you see one eyebrow raise, and she gives you that
I know it is a tale that is very hard to believe. I sometimes do not believe it myself.
Right. Well, you will find that there are many things that are valued in this city. knowledge, as you've seen with these beautiful waterfalls, that you may ask and inquire about the lore and knowledge of our city. Key among that is the sharing of truth, and she looks like very like pointedly at you.
Though I cannot do it because I smile too much. That expression from Obsidian, just flat face.
But I think that we have some very important issues to discuss. I have met with my mother and the great elder, and we need to discuss what to do about Morwen.
I mean,
No, go
Billy?
ahead. No, up to you.
you came in this morning and very emphatically said, "Get up, everyone! We have to go kill Morwen." That seems very straightforward.
Well, while my emotions were high, it is not as simple as just killing Morwen. She is beyond powerful. My people have feared her for hundreds of years. She is almost ageless. I know of almost no one that rivals her in power. So it's not as if we can just waltz in and kill her. But we must find a way. Surely it can be done?
Well,
And she's like scratching the like chin of a shark right now.
I guess let us start with where may we find this Morwen?
Well, I believe that I have heard tale Crituitous, correct?
You've heard
Quilting
tales of her hunting certain individuals in the Crituitous Bay area, which is a port city that Cecil would be fairly familiar with. It is directly east of Piercrest. It is right on the border of two regions. There's a bit of forest right there at the edge, at the kind of the border point, and where the mouth of the river enters the Starshine Bay, there is a little village there.
Morwen does a lot of, what is a good word for this, hunting throughout the sea, and one of the common places is in the Crituitous Bay. There is a small town nearby in the area. Maybe some of you might know of this, and she kind of looks to each of you. That is what I've that is what I have heard most of. That is the closest. I've of course heard of other places that she has engaged in this hunting of people before, but this is the closest to our location right now. It's to the east. We could probably start there.
That seems reasonable. Shall we head back up to the boat, or is there some other means of transport that you would recommend?
Well, I think it might benefit us to try to maybe look. And then she actually like a map appears and
Crituitous
she's
Bay
like
is right there.
Right there.
Piercrest. It's a terrible image, and I do apologize. Piercrest, you guys are somewhere around here. And Crituitous Bay is right down there. That's our map, wonderfully drawn by our very own resident artist.
It actually probably I imagine like hundreds of little tiny fish appear and kind of self-create the map. And so she she's like, oh, thank you, sweeties, and she just points. She's like, right here. Now, what is interesting about Morwen is perhaps it would be best to plan how to kill her first, but the Great Elder alluded to perhaps speaking with her first, to see what she knows of these shards. It could be that maybe, maybe Wrath could be potentially near her location. We don't know. But I will warn you, if we speak to her, she may offer us a deal, and the deal could sound amazing, as if she is offering us exactly what we want. But there is always a loophole. Her gifts come at a terrible price, and that is what makes them so tempting, and that is what makes people take them. And people do take them. Just know that what she will offer you, she can give what she offers. She can, if you've, you've never met your family before and you want to know their whereabouts, she can tell you exactly where they are. But there will be a terrible price for this information. That is just an example, but. And purely not related to anything in this group. But it might be beneficial just to see what type of information she offers, but we must play our hand and be cautious.
Well, absolutely. When we struck so swiftly against the other hags, the decisive blow was exactly that, but it also came at a great cost of unleashing these demons upon the world. Had we had known more ahead of time, perhaps there is something else we could have done to prevent that from happening. So, absolutely, we should not immediately try to kill her for not knowing what that could unleash.
How much do you know about hags?
I look at Cecil.
Cecil explains everything he knows about hags.
Cecil rolls a history check.
Oh, let me grab my phone. Okay. I got an 8.
Right. Okay. So you don't know too much more about hags yourself, specifically only that there are different kinds of hags. The different kinds usually denotes their power level, that sort of thing. You don't know much about sea hags specifically. You can make assumptions. They live in the sea. They're witches.
They need to die.
Hags fighting covens, yes, they need to die. We covered previously that you did remember tales about this one within your family, so you would know that your family's libraries or your family's archives would definitely have more information about her within them, and by extension, more about sea hags in general.
I explained that, but also say that we can't waste time. You can go talk to her, but she needs to die. And it needs to be soon.
She gives you this look of you need to be patient. It is not as simple as just walking in there and putting a sword through her heart. She will crush you in an instant.
I have been patient for a very long time.
I am telling you that I will not be a party to a suicide quest. I'm not going to walk in there and just throw my life away and not be here for my people and for the task that the elders and the has laid out before us and the one that you guys have already been on. What I'm saying though is we need to understand how powerful she is, and that is why I asked you what you know of hags. We are taught as small sea elf children to always fear aunties and grannies. And aunties are very powerful, but the grannies are the most powerful hags. And that is what Morwen is. They're older than dragons. And we know dragons are very, very old and powerful creatures. So if something can be older and more powerful than even a dragon, surely we cannot just walk into her home and kill her right now.
Absolutely. One does not simply walk into Morwen's.
How much were you itching to say?
These last 4 minutes.
I'm okay with just going and speaking with this one. But you have to understand that this is personal. I will not do anything that make you guys get harmed or killed. If anything, I would probably be the one dying.
Okay, but I want you to think, I understand this is personal, and I want to help you succeed in your quest to see her brought down. I would like that too. But do not act in the immediate. She will sense this. She will know. But think in the long run. This can be your long-term goal. And she's like, is that not what you call it? We can plot. We can scheme. We can spend time amassing our own power, our own resources. We can gather information from her now. And if it takes us even years to bring her down, at least those are years spent in the effort and pursuit of this goal rather than needlessly sacrificing our lives now. Right?
There's no response. Cecil just doesn't care anymore.
And she just rolls her eyes, and you see like the sharks behind her just go and like mimic.
Ilara, I think that perhaps we have a longer perspective on these things, whereas Cecil and the others, they are accustomed to doing things very quickly on account of their comparatively short lives. They are very industrious. But again, that's why I encourage us to act with caution and to, as Ilara says, learn what we can before we strike. I don't see how these are mutually exclusive things. We can learn, we can be cautious, and we can annihilate her in due course.
So, what's the plan now then, folks? Rush out right now or stay in town and prepare?
Well, the waterfall was reluctant to share any information with me anyway regarding this Morwen. If there is more information to be had here, then by all means we should gather it. If not, then we should head to Kilting Bay.
I can at least remind you about the aspect of covens with hags. If she is in a coven, potentially. If she's, they usually are. Like, that's, why wouldn't you be?
Is she in the same coven? Because we had that one coven and only part of them were there.
Wasn't finished.
Sorry. Go ahead, Theodora.
And I just wanted to say that we can locate her other coven members. Perhaps they're not as strong as her. And then I go back to playing with Stripesies. That's what I'm doing in the corner.
Fair enough.
It is. I do not know of these other hags that you encountered, but I know that there are many different types of hags. Ones that walk the land, and many different types among the land hags. But of the sea hags, I know that they are particularly vicious. She may have aunties that follow her. I do not know whom they are at all, but that is something we need to be very wary of. Also remember that they can appear as a normal person. They can entice us. That is how she hunts. They lure men into the bay. I have heard that before. But I would imagine she is in a coven of some kind that would only grant her more power, but we have always been taught that these particular hags, they covet power, and they are always plotting and scheming against one another, and that is their downfall in a sense. I do not know if this helps us, though.
It really sounds to me like we ought to be fighting some other hags before we fight this hag. And if we're going to go and visit her, then we need to be sure that we can get out of there if we intend on going to visit her. Otherwise, we need to track down these other hags. Sounds like.
I do not think that... I recall that the great elder, he gave us his blessing of protection. I do not think that he would task us with going to speak with her if he thought that it would be a lethal endeavor.
That's specifically why I think they're sending you, is because it's dangerous. And it's your job to protect this place.
Well, Ilara, if there is more information to be had here, then you, I guess, would know where it is. Again, if there is not more information, then perhaps Gritting Bay is where we should go.
I think it may be best to make our way to the bay.
And is the boat up above, is that a good way to go? Or do you have a fancy sea elf conveyance of sorts?
Well, I prefer to swim, but I understand that that is not ideal for you. And we can take the boat if that suits your lungs better.
Halfway between the sea and the sky. I like it.
Right. Now, when you guys first went in, you were under the effects of a water breathing spell, right?
That is right.
Do you still have that available for you, or do you need to seek out assistance from the sea elves in breathing water?
I believe Ilara granted us this for a period of 24 hours.
So, Lara, are you able to do it again?
I could do it again. I imagine for this exact problem, though, they would probably sell potions like this, or just to offer potions like this for landwalkers throughout Elune.
As mentioned previously in the last session, when landwalkers are leaving Elune, there's usually a whole exit process that they go through, which involves them almost decontaminating as they head closer and closer towards one of the exit points. That process of decontamination often messes with their minds and removes certain memories from them that they shouldn't have. So, one opportunity for Elara to decide if there are any memories that should be attempted to be removed from the party. Of their time in Elune. Is there anything that they encountered here that you think they should lose? I can't think of anything myself, so if you can.
No, I really can't either. So
Just giving you the opportunity. All right. So, having explained it to, having been granted the opportunity to permit them to keep their memories, you walk them through the indoctrination, and just like, not indoctrination, that's a bad word, but the post-processing. Sorry. You walk them down one of these long, swaying corridors, and there's little checkpoints each time. One is just to make sure that your clothes are fresh and clean so that they don't contaminate any of the water and the sea life that's outside. And then the next one would normally be the memory wipe, but that would be part of the potions. So they would go to give potions of water breathing to the party, and you'd wave, and then point behind to the actual potions of water breathing that would be used to help the party to be able to breathe without having their minds affected. Quick swig, you all get the ability to breathe water for 24 hours. As the cold liquid seeps down your throat, you can feel your throat almost opening up and just adapting. Rather than magically being able to breathe water, you almost feel like you're growing gills in response to having drank this particular potion. Swimming is obviously a difficult task for those unequipped, and so once again there will be various forms of sea life ready and waiting, like a dock almost, ready to take you out. So rather than the druids that came up and wild-shaped and brought you down, there are other well-trained sea life available for you. You can ride a sea turtle, a dolphin, a shark, any kind of creature you would like. So, Theo, how would you like to get back to the surface?
I'll take a shark.
You'll take a shark?
I'll
Okay.
take a tiger shark, I think.
A tiger shark. Okay, sounds good. Speaking of tigers, Obi.
At the risk of being too on the nose, how about a catfish?
A catfish. Okay,
Yeah.
with a really long...
Chonk.
wispy,
But like a really
crackly-
big, like a dire catfish.
A dire catfish. Okay. All right. Cecil.
I'll take a hammerhead shark because those are cool.
Okay. All right. So a hammerhead. Carl. I'm very sorry. Pelir.
I will take a giant seahorse.
Giant seahorse. Okay. So sitting on, and it's got a proper saddle on it and everything, and stirrups, and you sit on it very proudly. And you're welcome to ride a sea creature if you wish, Alara, or just swim yourself. What are you going to choose?
She has a really elegant gown on that's got like a lot of like wisps and like just kind of flowing pieces around the parts of her legs that look like sections. And as she like steps through the docking area, like she almost kind of like spin and turn as she wild shapes into a large octopus. And she is now that, and she begins to just kind of swim up with the party. And like she'll like kind of like tentacle reach up and like touch some of the party. Like she's trying to
Suckers
be
on
like,
them.
yeah, she's trying to be reassuring, like, it's okay, this is it's really pleasant, but she doesn't realize how kind of creepy it is. Like, she's
I'm
really
not
slimy
creeped out.
and
I am
cold.
fascinated by this. I wanna ride the octopus. Basically, but
You're going to jump
it's
over.
person. It's person. So I don't know.
Yeah, she like puts one of her tentacles on Theo. She's like, "Mwah."
Did I I just get a hand kiss? That felt like a hand kiss. I'm gonna say it was.
It'll take you a couple hours. You'll head back up. Roab will be somewhat surprised once again as you are conveyed up by these various different creatures. But he looks very flustered as you break the surface, and he's just stood there waiting. Finally. Are we good to go, or what?
Yes, I believe we are. I believe we have a slight change of direction, but then you can drop us off and all will be square. If it makes you feel better, nobody saw the light. I don't think it's real, but that's just me.
He squints at you. Okay. He then looks up, then down at the octopus. I don't know. All right, fine.
There's like a
Where are we
tentacle that
going?
comes up and like you can tell it's like emphatically saying something and
Talking with the hands.
yes, as one gestures with tentacles.
I now, for some reason, think that octopus is Italian. So, and I do apologize if that offended anyone. Okay, Roab needs to know where to go. Where now? And when you say we're all square, are we all square?
I mean, unless you have something else, I think passage to and from was part of the arrangement, but sorry for the detour. We're going to Crituitous Bay.
Crituitous Bay. Oh, that's gonna add quite a bit of time.
Yeah, not too far out of the way for a trepidatious explorer like yourself.
What's in Crituitous Bay?
Oh, we just need a place to drop off, and it's a little too hot around Oakwell and Belmont, so it's kind of an out-of-the-way place, you know. I mean, we did just kind of kill a guy for you, and people know what we look like, so, you know, we're going to ground.
Okay. Fair enough. And, Skipper, as he points towards the captain, turn us about. Starboard way. We're headed towards Crituitous Bay.
At this point, you just feel like the boat just kind of lurch a little bit as like this big octopus like just kind of climbs, like he just kind of slinks up over onto the deck, and then you just see Alara like standing there. She's like, "We're going?"
Oh, it's you. Yes, we're going. Wonderful. Okay. It's gonna add a couple days onto the journey, and then I'll drop you off in Crituitous Bay, and we'll be fine. Now, if my math is somewhat approximate, which it usually is, according to your last position, you're looking at almost an additional 7 days added journey just to get to Crituitous Bay. It's down a hole. It's quite a bit, probably less than that, but it's about, yeah. So, over the course of the 7 days, the waters in the Starshine Bay do feel a little still, a little quiet. And actually there gets a point about 3 days in where there is no wind whatsoever. And the boat just slowly comes to a stop.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. With the power of the Tempest behind you, absolutely, Theo helps to keep the boat going. No chance of cabin fever for you guys with the assistance that's there. Pushing through, your boat is then cascading past other individuals and creatures that are just milling about in the open waters. There are other fishing vessels that have just kind of relaxed out into the quiet waters, and they're all staring at you as you just slowly move past them. What spell are you using to, like, cantrip level or higher?
I think that when it becomes completely still, we'll go ahead and use the gust of wind, which is the
Okay.
higher.
higher.
But around that, we are going to be using just the cantrips. So it'll be
So
thoughtfully
big,
coordinated.
so kind of like a big blast to get the thing moving, and then while it's moving, a few extra cantrips here and there to keep the momentum edging further forward. It does mean that you're moving a bit slower to get across, but then after another 2 days of this, the winds pick up again and start leading you closer towards the Quilting Bay. After you've reached there's a point in the land where the water begins going almost into the land. You're actually passing through some areas that appear to be a large cliff sides. The ground rises up a good 50, 60 feet of just sheer cliff edge. It's not too big, it's not mountainous size, but it's certainly that is the direction that you can clearly see as the boat edges around towards this bay. Yeah.
Can we actually can we do some role play while we're on the sea here between these 7
Absolutely.
days? Because there's a lot of time there.
There is a lot of time. Yeah.
First,
Can I just do one thing? I'm sorry.
absolutely, go for it.
I just want to get this out of the way because I keep forgetting. I want my goddamn dire wolf. All right. So I'm going to be in a corner of the ship. I'm going to take out a wolf's nail, put it on the ground, and then activate Find Steed. And I will try to summon. I will summon a gigantic a dire wolf that's a little bit bigger than most dire wolves.
How big is this boat?
No, it's
Not big
fine.
enough to suddenly find an animal, but but yes.
And then
fine.
everyone but Alara drowned.
It's okay. I have a loyal steed. He will save me. And I will finish this campaign. But I summon my steed. He's white fur. He wears a scarf just like mine, with feathers around. On his on each 4 of his legs, there is the family bracelet with feathers that point up, so it looks like like you know how not the Flash, like there's like the shoes with little wings.
Winged boots.
Like yeah, right, but they're feathers, so yeah, it looks like he has like feathers popping out. And he shows up. And does that change? I mean, he's just like a spiritual guardian thing, right? It's not like he's really weighs, right?
So when you summon your Find Steed, you call upon an extraplanar entity to come to your aid. Someone that is usually tied to your family or your very personal essence that you call upon to come to be your companion. Similar to how Pelir has Stripesies that answers his call. Every time Stripesies is unsummoned, it's still the same spirit that comes in and helps him out every time he uses it. For you, in this case, it's a similar sort of fashion. You would summon a celestial being to come in and take on the form of a physical beast, of a mount that you would. So it has the muscles, it has the physicality, it weighs, I want to say, close to 400 or 500 pounds by itself. The fur is very soft. You can feel it. You can run your fingers through it. It is very much a tangible and physical creature in front of you that
So
suddenly
cool.
just materializes. Yeah.
I'm gonna put my forehead to its forehead. You know, scratching like the sides of it. This sucks without a video camera, man. But I'm just gonna say in Celestial, Jorgen, welcome back, and I'm good. We're gonna be chilling in the corner because I'm mad. We're gonna be preparing our resolve.
Does that mean it speaks Celestial and not Common?
No, it speaks common. I just said it in Celestial just because Celestial means a lot to me. So just quick note, Theo. He is friendly to everyone that is friendly to me. So he would not be like a dick to Obi, because you know Obi is Obi. He would be nice to
Because
But
it's
he
a cat.
wouldn't be nice to Rohab.
No,
Who
He would- but
Roab
he
has
wouldn't-
been nice to you the whole time.
he
Just
wouldn't.
saying.
He wouldn't come up to him. He would be cautious.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. What are the rest of you do when suddenly there's this large direwolf that's come to your aid, or is there as you were going to say there, Theo, you wanted opportunity to be able to spend some of this time doing your own thing? What kinds of things would you be doing?
Okay, now there was 2 things. Now there's 3 things. First of all, I like to walk past Cecil at some point and Jorgen, and at some point I just say, "Hello, doggy."
Jorgen will probably. Jorgen's like a dog, technically, like in his own way. So he'll probably be playing around. But he's a huge freaking direwolf. So
Unfazed. I know it's yours, so it'll be fine. After I Tommy Wiseau that, I will randomly walk up to Cecil and give him a hug that lasts 2 seconds, and then I will meander back on my way.
I am confused.
That's yeah.
But oddly, I feel good. But I return back to meditating.
Being generally angsty.
It's about resolve. I'm preparing my resolve.
At some point, I'll knock on Ilara's door to her cabin, wherever she's staying, wherever she is.
You actually probably think she's usually find her out like where she can be as close to the sea as possible. So the lowest point of the ship where she can like maybe skim her hand along the water or something like that.
Okay. I'll sidle up next to her and say, we did keep our memories, right?
She just like looks up and she gives you this like little smirk and she goes, "Most of them, yes."
Do I believe her?
She starts giggling and she goes and she puts a hand on your shoulder and she's like, "I'm kidding, you've kept them all."
Okay, thank you for thank you for doing that. Thank you for putting yourself out there for us like that. You weren't with us, but recently there was an incident in which something mind controlled me, and then it killed me. So it's kind of a sore spot now, having my mind either controlled or memory stripped. So I recognize that you were unaware of that, but I just want to say it means more to me than I think that you know. So thank you.
That sounds awful. I'm sorry you had to go through that.
It was traumatic. It was
Yeah.
incredibly traumatic. I still don't sleep well.
What kind of creature would do something like that?
It was a fiend.
And she kind of, that makes sense. Did you destroy it?
I believe my companions did after I had fallen, yes. Cecil was actually the one that revived me. I don't know how he did it. He's a little bit of a cactus when it comes to asking about some things and stuff, so I guess I have been hesitant to figure out what's going on with him. But yeah, he saved my life, for sure. And I just came by to say thank you. So thank you.
You're very welcome.
And then I'll say goodbye to that. And
as she like has her hand like skimming the ocean, and she like she looks down and she just like a big smile, and like she kind of looks at the waters like, that was very sweet. She lifts her hand and she goes, the sea has heard your story as well and wants to offer you this. And it's this like beautiful little sea star, and it's got like, it's like this beautiful like rose gold kind of color with like some little like sea pearls in it. And she like puts it in her palm and offers it to you. She's like, "Here you are."
What manner of sorcery? You didn't just pluck that out randomly. The ocean is like a. It's really a thing, isn't it? Like it's conscious on some level.
It is. That's why we must always respect it.
Nobody knows.
No, not many do.
You need to come to Oakwell. You need to come to the observatory and tell people.
I would like to spread the knowledge that we must be kind to our waters.
Definitely, yeah. Show people what I've seen. I think you'd make a difference.
Although I do have my obligations to my people.
You can go back to them after you tell us what the score is.
Start Snapchatting. Look at what I
Yeah,
got.
right. Exactly.
Got a C-star.
If only. All right, I'll see you later. I gotta make some rounds. Morale is low.
Is the boat small enough that conversation is overhearable, or is it big enough that you are off on your ownsies?
You hear giggling.
Yeah. It's small enough that you can't avoid one another, but it is large enough that you can actively choose to have private conversations, should you wish. Okay. Anything?
Yeah. Last, because this may require the most brain power. I don't know. I'm going to go attempt to find Pellier. Where's Pellier?
I am here on the boat.
Doing what? What are you doing?
Boat stuff.
Are you helping out?
I am trying to make sense of these scrolls that we got from Aganebuto. There's a fan dance that I still have not mastered. It is quite vexing to me.
Well, I just wanted to come by and see how you were doing. I noticed that no one's really kind of followed up with you after that fight with the Dark Elf. That didn't go well.
It did not go well. You are right about that?
It was poorly planned, poorly executed. I don't think that you should have been... Personally, I don't think you should have been pitted against him. We didn't know enough about him. Like, that's what you do, right? That's what you specifically have done up to this point, is you've gone around dueling people.
That is true. In my career with the lawkeepers of Ermios, I have fought many battles as a champion of the law.
What do you think about Valara?
Well, I do not have a perfect record. I have lost before. And when you have fought as long as I have fought, you learn to put these things behind you very quickly. He was a very capable combatant. I am not troubled by the loss, but in what came after. How we reacted after the terms of the fight were established, and then were just casually thrown out the window. This cannot bode well. There will be grudges that will be held, and it was not my proudest moment, and I regret that it happened. I did warn that very thing would happen. However, it is there's only so much that one man can do.
Right? Oh my god! Preach it to the choir! That one! There is just so much that you can try to convince. How do we... I agree. How do we make sure that doesn't happen again? How do we at least try to make a better effort of it?
We cannot control other people. We can only control ourselves. And for myself, I will, just try to be a good example.
That's it. Just hope.
That we can only control what we can control of ourselves. So it's
Yeah,
not
more-
just hope. It is also doing what you can and being the change you want to see in the world.
You think that actually works?
I have to believe this.
Why?
Well, if that is not true, then what is the alternative?
Chaos? Like the world is actually created and how it exists and works? Total utter chaos?
That is the world, but there is also us. I am myself not chaos. I have the ability to control things and predict things that will happen with, provided certain circumstances.
So, by what you're saying, you wouldn't have changed anything, really. You would, like I said, you just would attempt to lead by example.
Yes, I regret what has happened, and I would not have chosen what did happen.
So, that goes back to what do we do differently?
I will continue doing what I have been doing and trying to set a good example, and I will hope that our colleagues will see this example and want to emulate it.
And, well, I guess that's... Yeah, I guess we'll just see what happens there. All right. Well, I just want to let you know, none of us think any less of you for what occurred. I appreciate your value that you place in the rules, for sure. Yeah, and if you ever need anything, just let me know. I'm if you just want to talk anytime, I'm here.
I take you, Sidora. It was very kind of you to come check on me.
Bye. Take it, your cat. The end.
Anything else? Okay. Else, guys?
That is a freaking big
Okay.
wolf, and I am hanging out in the. Is there a crow's nest on this thing?
No, the boat is more or less just kind of halfway between a keelboat and a sailing boat. And as such, it doesn't really have a mast, per se. Oh, well, no, it has a mast and it has a sail, but it doesn't,
But it doesn't have a crow's
mast
nest or
big
anything.
enough for a crow's nest.
Yeah. I'll just be on the opposite side of the boat from wherever that dog is.
You don't like dogs, though, Roby?
It is a giant dog that magically appeared out of nowhere and is weighing down the boat, and he looks kind of sparkly and has the same. So here's the thing, Roab. Since I assume I'm talking to Roab, who asked whether or not I don't like dogs. Here's the thing, Roab. Being who we are, there are people out there who have very strict ideas about the world, and if you run afoul of them, whether they are right or wrong, they think you're a bad guy. And Cecil is one of those people, which is why I am grateful we don't talk about our previous associations much. And that dog looks like Cecil, but even more judgy. Like I can see it in his eyes.
Right?
Even more so. So like his eyes, like I feel like he is just judging everyone as being not like good enough. And I swear when he looks at me, like his lips move just a little, so his teeth are like extra pointy. Like, anyway.
Is this shit on Cecil Day? Like, what the fuck? It's like
No, we
5
don't
different
mean- conversations. Well, what Roab then begins to discuss with you is, let's pretend for a moment we were back in the old days, my friend.
Yeah.
We have a target that not really a target so much, but someone nearby that kind of irks our situation, what are some of the things we would make sure that we could do? We'd learn as much as we can about its capabilities, what it's able to be done. Now, I've seen people summon creatures before. I've not really seen someone summon a creature of that particular size that often. So I don't know necessarily what things are needed. But one thing I bet you, and he'll lean in close, he's a dog, right? And
I mean,
he's a big looking one. So I'm thinking that it probably can't see what's going on behind its head. So as long as you stay behind it or above it, you should be fine.
I got another question though. Does that thing eat? Oh, hold on. Hey, Cecil. Cecil.
So, as you try to call out towards me, I am not paying attention because you can see a very focused, determined face and this aura that radiant, like this pressure is very radiant and necrotic that's coming out. Like, as you can feel this pressure, because I am so focused and so thinking about something that I completely ignore you for the first couple of times, and then that's when I look up, like probably like the second or third time, and I'm like, yes, Obi.
Like, so, does he have a name? Does he, like, eat? Does he poop? Do we have to worry about these kind of things on a very small ship for, like, 6 days?
You don't have to worry about any of those things. This is Jorgen. He is a guardian spirit.
Jorgen?
Yes. He used to be my dog when I was younger. Well, I had a dog named Jorgen. I didn't name him that. My mother named him that. But you know, dogs die. It happens. Sometimes
we
you
all
don't get
die.
over it. Personally, me, I kind of didn't really get over it. It was my first dog. Sometimes I summon Jorgen when I need the help, and you know, I have his little, you know, claw that I carry with me when I need to summon him. I use it. He's fine with you, don't worry. And he gives you like this derpy look to Obi.
Cecil, I get the feeling you have a real problem with death.
I kind of stare at Roab.
Death is a natural portion of life. All things must die eventually.
I agree. I tasted death. It was
How did it taste?
He kind of looks down, like he doesn't want to say anything, and then he looks back and he says, "Peaceful."
It's a poison I have yet to partake of. But it's peaceful. I wonder, Cecil and Jorgen, if both of you died previously, why are your souls here? Why not rest with your family? Why not rest with your gods? I know that should I fall today, I would gladly spend the rest of my time with my patron. Why are you still here, Cecil?
Well, I kind of looks off at the distance, and while scratching Jorgen. I have things I need to do. My family need me. The people need me. The monsters that like more when they need. I was about to say that they need me to be here to take care of them.
How old are you, Cecil?
How am I? I think I'm my actual age. I made Cecil 26. Yeah, I'm 26 or 25, I think.
And how old is your family? You seem like a hunter, like by trade and by family and nature. How old's the family?
I answer very cautious, like not like I'm not like answering like, oh yeah, we're buddies, but I'm very cautious around Roab. My family, the Halfways themselves, have been very. They have lived for, I would say, a long time. I don't know exactly years, but
But they've been hunting monsters this whole time.
not us. We just did maybe 3 generations ago when my clan married into the Looms, who was a family of hunters, and they have been hunting for a very long time.
Well, one thing that I think you should know, and I am glad I am the one able to share this information with you. Cecil, your family did well without you before you came here. They will do fine without you once you're gone. It's okay to rest.
How am I gonna go through with this? Hold on.
So
'Cause he was
while
paying
this is
res-
happening, Roab is winking at Obi because he.
Oh, Obi is right there. These are all questions he's wanted to ask but hasn't yet.
Yeah.
Just go ahead. Yes, speak.
When I died, you were there, Obi. My head got cut off.
You still have this. You still have the scar.
Yeah, I try to cover it. It's not one of my most finer moments in life.
I think it looks somewhat dashing on you.
When I died, it felt like all the stress, all the pain was gone. I can rest, and I had my own personal place. I had my own dreams. I had my own things that I wanted, that I cherished, and everything was fine. And then that's when my God came, and he said, "You have to go back." And I had to. I came back.
So you live for duty to your God.
Yeah.
Is that what you mean when you keep saying that every monster we meet you have a personal grudge and you don't have time? Is there a
Morrowind is different, very different.
how?
But before anything, when I say my God, I meant to me, not a God to anybody else. The way you or Roab or anybody else would think. To us, to the Looms, to the Halfways, our God is the first. It's the first Loom, and to see him and to have him tell me it's time to go, it means I have to take the call. I have to go back. It's duty. It's our resolve. We are him. He is us. And that's when you guys resurrected me, and I have the souls of 4 people currently, and it was meant to be. It was meant to be, and I have to be here.
So why? But why is that? Why you don't have time? Like you do this and you get to go?
I'm not very comfortable talking about that, Obi. And I look at Roab.
So Roab will walk towards you slowly, like someone walking towards a wild animal, just calmly, slowly, and then he'll drop down to one knee and bow. Cecil, you have grown in my eyes, and I respect a servant of a greater being far more than a bloodthirsty hunter. I apologize for any actions I did that offend you. I wish we can get past this. And then he'll stand back up and walk away. His view clearly changed on Cecil from that one conversation.
I've been doing a lot of starting new pages, starting new books of people, so might as well reset. Or you're not too bad in my eyes. As I bite my lip, saying that.
Okay. And then another little wink will go by to Obi. Got it. All right.
I am not a musician, but I have a pan flute, and I will play it in the evening if anyone has requests or want to dance on the deck of the ship. That is all.
Any other maritime activities?
I will try to choreograph a fan dance to go with the pan flute playing. It'd be like a Karate Kid montage.
Roll a performance check.
While he does that, speaking of Karate Kid montage, Roab and I will probably do some Tai Chi or spar or something in the meantime, as we're both of monastic traditions.
You see a bunch of dolphins jumping up alongside of the boat and doing little flips, and Alara's clapping.
It's a 12 on the performance.
Okay. Not a bad performance. You're learning all the new things as you're going along, but you're getting more comfortable with the fans as an extension of yourself, rather than just a tool. Obi, are you able to actually summon shadows yet? Create
Yes.
any sort of... Yes, you are. Okay.
I can cast darkness.
Right.
As for 2 key points.
I am now imagining that your little dance with Roab, your sparring aspect with Roab, will involve a lot of those warring elements of light and darkness just combining with one another as the blows pass by one another. A beam of energy will just skim past you as Shadow passes him.
Wisps the shadow come off my fists as I'm punching. Yeah.
It's very much an almost I don't want to say
yin yang came to life and fought each other.
Exactly right. Opposites seem to attract and work well together, almost to give an idea that these two warring factions could potentially join at some point in this one moment where you two friends do well against one another. Okay. Then, if there is nothing else, the journey along the waters will culminate with you approaching Quilting Bay. As I mentioned previously, the bay where the actual village is tucked into the land side, but it's raised out of the water quite considerably. It's not a dock that is right low on sea level. The docks themselves are raised up out of here, and as you approach with your little sea vessel, you can feel the air pushing against the boat, trying to actively keep the boat out of that little nook within this area. But with the assistance of Theo, you guys would have no problem finally pushing yourself slowly into place. This dock that is 60 foot above you has tons of people all over it, and they, as soon as the boat comes into view, begin lowering platforms down to the lower portion to allow you to dock against something that is effectively an elevator system up to the main city proper. But they're not really what catches your eye so much as all of the people playing in the water. Up until now, people that have been in the water have usually been doing it for function. Here, people are just killing time and enjoying themselves in the water here. You've got people that have appear to be gliding along the water along elongated shield-like items. You've got people that are dragging one another around as one swims particularly fast. It's dragging another person through the water. People are actually being recreational here around all of this. And then up in the little bay above, as you dock in and get lifted up, it's a merchant space. A lot of the trading that Piercrest would have done once they had collected all their fish, would have gone through here, and they would have traded into this town that would have then moved off. So you have a fairly bustling, simple town that most of the buildings in here, which you can see, there's a couple, I want to say close to about 100 different buildings, are all very small, quaint. There isn't a single building in here that is more than 1 story tall. Everything is a bungalow in this this little space, and as such, everyone here is also fairly small. Now, they're not dwarvish, gnomish, or anything like that. They are just short individuals. As
feel
you
that.
look out amongst the crowds here, I want to know, how tall are you guys? So in terms of your characters, because we haven't really discussed height-wise, I don't think, so much in depth. I want to get an idea of your heights. So Pelir, how tall is Pelir?
Belir is 5 foot and 5 inches.
5 foot 5 inches. How tall is Theo?
5'3".
5'3". Obi?
Obi is 5'4".
5'4". Okay, very similar group so far. Ilara?
5'11".
5'11". Okay, so towering over everyone so
Yeah.
far. And Cecil?
Well, I have a power fantasy of being way taller than I really am in real life. Now, I'm like 5'10", but Cecil's like, what, 6'1" maybe? No, 6'0". He's not super tall. He's like,
So we're more or less Alara, Cecil, everybody else.
Okay. So, with your group, you guys do somewhat tower, even Theo, above the humans that are here, who none of them are over 5 feet tall. They're all just under. They're quaint individuals. Their clothing seems very humble, very simple, nothing flashy, no one wearing any bright colors. Everything's very dull in that sort of aspect. But they are trading, and their little market spaces are pretty much focused around food stuffs. You've got fish from the Starshire Bay, and you've got various different crops that would have been grown in the fields both to the north and the south of this area. Those are primarily the people that appear to be the residents of Crituitous Bay. Above that, though, or not so much above that, there are some other individuals that you do see that are your height. A few individuals here, travelers that would have been visiting in this area. There's a merchant that brought his own jester with him. The jester is entertaining the key with a couple of the merchants, collecting the goods with the intention of going out of town. The place is... am I roboting bad? Okay.
Are you noticing all our faces? Like,
I'm noticing all your faces. I'm
Yeah.
terribly sorry.
it was on my face the most.
Well, I can't see your face.
You're fine now.
Yeah.
It fixed
Okay.
itself.
There are lots
get
of
the
merchants.
gist.
They're short. They're
I heard a
buying and
jester.
trading, and that's where we got.
This is Jester. Yeah, we got the Jester too.
Right. I was describing one particular merchant that kind of stands out. He, with his brightly covered wagon, has not only is he doing trade with some of the locals here, like other people are, he clearly has brought along with him people to entertain and a jester to keep himself, to keep the people distracted while he's doing his trading. Roab bids you adieu. If this is this it? We good?
Yes, but next time, maybe you can more subtly contact me. There's a shifty fellow in Oakwell named Banksy. If you need to get a hold of me, talk to him.
Okay.
the shifty fellow.
That's not his real name,
Who-
but that's, you know, it goes.
Who is Banksy?
Oh, he is my criminal contact. The person in Oakwell that I can get information to and from on a regular basis because of my background.
Okay. All right. I'll try to find Banksy.
All right.
Is there, off the top of my head, Is there something that you guys need me to do while you're able to do in another portion of the world, like maybe sending something back that you purchased and promised to return by a certain date?
If you are heading back to the Negeretta, where you picked us up, there was a boat that we rented that could be returned to Oakwell. That would be a very solid act that you could do for us.
I'll do this for Cecil. All right. And then he'll take his boat and he'll...
Definitely
Yeah.
rolling my eyes.
All right, good. Now, in the village, other than the merchants and the people that you can see dotting about, as I said, the buildings in here aren't big buildings. There isn't a single building in here that is more than 1 story tall, but they've compensated that buildings. It's bad, isn't it? You know who pulls the worst face when it comes to this is, of course, Amber, who just squints terribly when the robots.
No, I'm afraid Carl does more than that. He squints and cocks his head.
Okay, I don't see him cocking his head. He's frozen on my screen. So well, that's probably why. All right. Long story short, big, long building, 1 story, but it could be at least 12 buildings attached to one another. It is the biggest space in town. There's music coming from it, very happy-go-lucky tunes that are coming out of this long hall. What do you guys do?
Medically, I do not trust the shortness of the locals. There has got to be something up with that. So I'm going to. Okay, I've either A, gravity is stronger here, or B, there is magic afoot. So I would like to cast detect magic.
I just like how you worded that. Medically, I do not trust the shortness.
That ain't right.
That ain't right.
You roll.
Shortness.
You use the technique. You don't sense any magic really that triggers. Roll an Arcana check.
Okay. $16.
Judging by their forms, they don't look like they're individuals that are under the effect of a spell. It could be that the past were under the effect of a spell, and generations just expanded from that. It could very well just be selective breeding. And some natural reason has meant that the short ones survived better. Who knows?
I look up.
Exactly. Are there any birds of prey?
Detect magic.
Roll a perception check.
$10.
No birds of prey.
21.
21. Yeah, there's birds of prey. Nothing too extravagant, not like a huge horde of terror folk that are nearby, but there are a lot of vultures, particularly in the area, meaning that there's obviously you for them to feast upon. However, they don't look to be large enough to be the dominating threat to the people to cause them to be this high. Do you communicate with anyone? Do you talk to them to try and figure it out?
Hey, you guys, why are you so short? Is that what Theodore says? It sounds like that's what she says.
No. No. I'm going to actually do a little shifty eyes thing and tell my party. This place is harboring a secret.
What kind of secret are you referring to?
Well, have you noticed how everyone is oddly short for Ermios?
Well, in my opinion, everyone's short. So, I don't really notice that.
And then she like kind of looks down at you, and she's like, "Well,
Okay, all right. I know what you're thinking. But the thing is that I'm usually the short one, or Obi is usually the short one. But we're all ginormous compared to the locals.
I'm going to walk up to Theo. I'm going to put my hand on her shoulder, and I'm going to say, you're always the short one in our hearts, Professor Doctor.
Aw.
Don't worry. Now, can we leave? Turn around. Oh, of course, I said that very sarcastically.
Just remember that this place has a secret.
are there not land dwellers that are short by nature, like gnomes?
Well, sure, but these are not gnomes.
Could they not have an
How do you not
ancestry?
know? Are they tall gnomes?
Yes, could they not be like some kind of ancestor or a different tall gnomes?
Super gnomes.
Mega gnomes.
Mega gnomes.
Well, are their bodies proportionate to that theory? They have large
Excuse me,
noses,
and
large
she
ears?
sees like one passing by.
Oh, no, wait. Bedside manner.
Theo, to answer
Hold your arms
question,
out.
I need a medicine check from you. To see if you can, you knowing the anatomy of an individual, to know what they should be like. You check with your notes. They seem to be a little stunted, but they are proportional to humans. It's possible. It's possible that they could have some ancestry that is connected with dwarven kind. Probably not gnomish. Or
But
halfling.
that would have had to have taken
It's the
place
way that
so
they're
long
proportioned.
ago.
Century. Yeah,
Yeah.
so long ago, like
That wouldn't
millennia,
be realistic
almost impossible.
for this population to be this concentrated with short people. There's something happening to them now.
Hmm.
Yeah. I'll say this. There's something happening to them now. This isn't an ancestry thing.
Well, I'm sure that they're aware of this. Why don't we just ask them?
Well, is it?
Hey, ladies, but we can hear you, right?
Why are you so short?
And then she like puts her hand up. She's like, "I'm so sorry. I know this is a very pointed question and a delicate matter, but I'm sure you've noticed how tall we are, and we're used to gnomes and dwarves and other folk that we've encountered that we expect to be a certain height, or but you appear to be human, but you're not of the stature that we typically see. Do you have a heritage or ancestry that leads your people to normally be this height?"
I am concerned about your health.
Right. Obviously, got to be something wrong with me if I'm this
No.
height.
Nothing wrong, just curious about your history. And then
What if tall blue thing? What if I'm the height that humans are supposed to be?
that
Yeah?
could be.
Think about that.
That could be.
That's not what the professors teach at the universities where they write all these things down.
Listen to this. Got a professor here.
Professor Doctor.
The professor. Thank you very much.
Well, the professor. What you doing in Quilting Bay? What can we do you for?
Being mesmerized by your shortness, apparently.
Oh my
Hey.
god, this is rude.
Hey. If you like my stature, we can have a drink. But there's probably some other reason you came down.
What do y'all have? Yeah. He seemed very friendly. I'll take a drink.
All right. And
can we get a
he'll
couple
put an
of
elbow up to go and take your arm,
tall ones?
which is,
Yeah.
and then he'll walk Theo off towards the pub and go and buy Theo a drink.
I will make sure that people are following me before I go alone with the stranger.
While this is happening, Alara like turns and looks at the rest of them. Tall blue one, is it really that blue?
It's a nice shade. Don't worry. But I'm very biased because I like blue a lot. So, right, Jaeger? Jaeger?
Jaeger.
Jaeger?
Jorgen?
Jorgen. Wow.
Your pet is called
Yeah,
Jorgen.
I know. My bad, guys.
Nobody has
Jägermeister.
nobody has enough hair, frankly. So whether you're blue or not hairy, whatever.
Well, other members of the Kriltings will begin to also escort the rest of the party over towards the tavern, kind of making the atmosphere a little bit more jovial. They'll explain that they're just being rough on you because they get it from everyone. They're fine. They know they're short. They'll talk about it. They'll share stories with you over a drink or two at the local hole in the wall, as they call it. It's actually got a big sign on the front that says "hole in the wall." But we'll deal with that next time on the World of Horen, as we get to know the Kriltings and what's so significant about them. What's the connection with them and this Morwen who seems to hunt for men amongst these small people? And yeah, so thank you very much, everyone, for joining us tonight. Had a lot of fun with that. Sorry that we started a little bit late. We had some technical issues. Some of you could hear. As we tonight's session, just want to jump into our little circle and start with Casey today, if that's all right with her.
It is. It is. I am Casey, KCH on social media. If you liked what you saw of me today here, you can also catch me back on this channel on Sundays doing the Half Rate Hero show with Carl over there, starting at 6 p.m. EST. And then on Tuesday mornings, starting at 9 a.m. EST, I am doing the City of the Gods over on the Greyhawk channel. And then again on Friday, 5 p.m. EST. Yes. Doing The Old Faith, where I am playing Eunice the Halfling Barbarian. Over to whoever wants to go. Whoever Taylor calls on.
I will take that, I guess. I am Matthew. I play Obi. You can find me on Twitter at MatthewKenRBM. This is my sole break from reality, which is just absolutely delightful. Love it. But I'll again plug Terry Pratchett. What with Good Omens out and the fact that I'm rereading his novels, they are excellent. Go have fun. Also good inspiration for a lot of hilarious stuff if you're doing Angels and Demons in your campaign. And I will throw it over to Solomon.
You didn't say what you liked today.
Oh, what did I like today? I love the RP days. I mean, combat's good, but like getting to learn more about other people's characters and dig that out. I kind of enjoyed that all we heard was Alara and Theodora just like giggling. Not like childishly giggling, but like having their ha 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 ha. And say, oh, I wonder what I missed. Okay. So that's it for me.
Okay. Hey, what's up, guys? I'm Solomon. I play Cecil, the Paladin, and I don't play anywhere else yet, as always. But I'm almost done with Hunter x Hunter, the anime, so that's something. What I liked today was just like the cool little RP moments. I like summoning my freaking wolf finally, and Theo using Rohab to flesh out Cecil a little bit more. I didn't like getting bullied. I thought that was really mean. Everybody was bullying me today, but you know what? It's okay. I'm the hero. I'll take it. I'm a martyr for this, you know. And I'll pass it on to Carl.
I am Carl. I played Pilir de Winter. I also play Lefcadia Whitehorn, that's a Baxi Warlock, on this channel's Sunday nights with Casey in the Half Rate Hero game. I was, like Matthew, I'm a fan of getting to know the characters, and I just want to appreciate Casey for tapping on the brakes for us so that we do get an opportunity to do that from time to time. And I think that is all the players. Back to Teo. Oh, wait, no.
Okay.
Amber didn't go yet. Amber.
I'm Amber. I play Alara. You can find me here on Tuesdays, and then I'm on the Greyhawk channel sporadically with their Saltmarsh stories. Our next game is coming up on July 5th at, I think, I want to say 8 or 9. I don't know. Don't quote me. But otherwise, I DM 2 games of my own. I post about them on Twitter, and that's at @furore_D&D. My favorite moment is, again, just like everybody else, all of the RP, but I really like the Crituitous, the voices by the DM just giving us kind of a hard time. That was funny. But yeah, I'll pass it over to our DM now.
Yeah. So I wanted to thank Casey. Yeah, I do try to. But are you going to do anything else? Would you like to do anything else while you're doing something? On this particular occasion, I forgot to do so. So thank you for calling me out to give that opportunity.
Happy to have you back.
Because it was some good RP that was useful. I particularly was glad that we were able to at least meet some of the Crituitous today, and we'll get to know them a little bit more next time. The Crituitous is something that I've made that obviously the players don't know about, and so I do like to surprise them a little bit, and I enjoy seeing their faces when they see stuff like that, especially the response of medically something's wrong.
That's the professor doctor for
You know what's messed up about that whole situation is that we now have an actual medical professional amongst us. So I think, am I getting this right every single time I do anything medical?
I won't say anything.
I appreciate that. That's the best thing you could probably do for me, who doesn't know anything about anything.
I remember a few months ago, saying in a stream like 3 times in a row, mechanically speaking, and then that just was responded a lot. So now, quite regularly, I'm going to be calling out medically speaking for the sake of that moment. But
you'll just
in
know
terms
if you ever
of,
see me go or something like that.
Backpedal.
Now, in terms of plugging stuff, I have 2 things I want to plug. One thing, you may have seen the completely gratuitous product placement from both myself and Matthew, and then Casey wearing our wonderful Dragacorn shirt. We have a store, we have merch stuff. It's a wonderful artwork. We like having it. It's a great little mug. I have a t-shirt on the way for me. I've seen a lot of people in our Discord channel that we have, Teovan's Heroes Discord channel, posting pictures and sending me images. So far, folks, just so that our players are aware, I've received 3 individual players showing me photos of themselves wearing one of our t-shirts, and so that is 3 free inspirations for the party to choose and use as they wish. Okay, and if you like the stuff, then tweet us a photo or send us a photo. Let us know that you have it and you're wearing it. The other thing is, I mentioned a couple of weeks ago that I started doing audiobook recordings. My first book is now live, and you can get it for free for signing up for Audible for a free 30-day subscription through audible.com or .co.uk or FR or DE, depending on where you're from. And you can get that book. It's a short one. It's a simple little short story called Away with the Fairies by Jenny Twist. It's a small kid story, simple. I've got more coming. More books are on the way, and I'll announce them as they're released. But thank you very much, everyone, for joining us. We appreciate you sticking through and watching our episodes. Please check out the Half Rate Heroes campaign on Sundays. Watch our read broadcasts and share us with your friends. We like to get to know each and every one of you. If you like what we do, go ahead and jump into our Discord and tell us all the things you like, and then rant and rave to me privately about the things you don't like, and we'll see what we can do about it. Okay, guys? Thank you very much. Have a great night. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Good night, everyone.